Okay, so now we want to take the contents of the file and put them into an array. So now for the sake of this tutorial, we're not going to get into dynamically allocated arrays. We're just going to stick with the static arrays. So the first thing we want to do is go back to the data file.
Which is data.txt?
Yep. Okay, so we want to remove the last line. Now let's count how many items we're actually going to be reading.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, maybe let's add one more and make it 10, just for the fun of it.
10.
All right, so let's save that. So we know we're going to be reading 10 lines. So we're going to put all of these in an array of size 10.
I'm going to make this 100.
Sweet.
Close it, and Alt-Tab, back to NetBeans.
When we run through this, instead of printing the line, we're actually going to be storing this into an array. So the first thing we want to do is define our array. Okay, so to do that, we're going to make it an array of integers. So it's going to be int bracket bracket. And we're going to call this array. And this is going to be equal to a new int bracket and then 10 semicolon.
This looks like a square on the screen, but what that is that's just two
brackets.
Square brackets.
Okay, so now we've allocated a one-dimensional array, and it's going to be a length of 10. Okay, so right after we define that, let's define an integer I, which will increment during the while loop.
Set it equal to 0 in the beginning.
Yep. Okay, so now in that while loop, instead of system out print line, str line, we want to parse that string as a integer.
Yeah, so we have to do the same thing that we did before.
Right, which was integer dot parse int.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to start I++.
Right.
And then this is going to be...
So the array I, so position I, is going to be equal to integer.parseInt and the string name, which is str line. Okay, so that's going to pump everything into an array. So now let's, after we go through the try and catch,
let's write a separate function that is now going to print the contents of the array.
Okay, so let's call it print array.
Okay, and we'll do this, and I'm going to add a comment here. We see how this is the end of the main function. So just so that we know, end main. So then below this, we'll do our... Whoops. Definitely pushing the wrong keys here. It's been a long day. Okay, so then...
so now we want to do a public static, and we're going to be passing a parameter as...
We'll do like print array.
Right. We need to define the parameter, I think.
Void?
Or void. Okay, public static void print array. And instead of the semicolon, we're just going to put the brackets in there.
Oh, I'm sorry, this doesn't go there. So then this would be like int array.
Actually, we want to call it something, so we're going to do int space x bracket bracket.
Let's try this.
Line. So let's just print row 1.
X. And then inside here, for int counter equals 0, whilst counter is less than 10, counter plus plus. So in order to make use of this, we'll close the file and then we'll call it here, or should we do it after the catch?
Let's actually do it after the catch.
Gotcha.
So everything's all said and done. The catch happens. Everything's beautiful. And then we print this array. And it's going to be a print array.
So this should work. F6. And of course it does.
Wonderful.
Okay, so just a quick overview. The only thing that we changed is we have this now. And we also declared lines 26 and 27 up here where we declared the array, set the counter equal to 0 in the beginning, populate the array, and then at the end here we print the array based on this function here.